It's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello there, my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek. Hey, today we're going to be floating through outer space. We're going to be trying to get our sheep home by leading them with our shepherds. Yes, it sounds crazy, right? We're in Space Sheep today from Stronghold Games. It is a cooperative game from 1 to 8 players, ages 10 and up, plays in about 20 to 30 minutes, and it has all sorts of different variants and variables that you can set to change the difficulty, but it's really, at its essence, a cooperative puzzle-y game. It's basically one big puzzle that you're trying to figure out together. Sound like fun? We're going to be going through space, getting our sheep home. Let's take a look. Here's how it's played. Space Sheep has both a family game and an advanced game. I'm actually going to show you something even easier than the family game at first to help you understand the concepts, and then I'll roll up the other ones. So here we have set up, we have 4 stations of 4 different colors. We see we have a yellow station here, an orange station, a blue station, and a purple station. And for those that are colorblind, the different station colors have different symbols. Right there. So what we have is we have sheep, which obviously look like cute little sheep, and we have shepherds, which look like a ship, of course. So we have sheep and shepherd of each color, and they start out randomly, and they're on different station colors than what their home station is. The object of the game is to get all the sheep and all of the shepherds together on its own base station. So if we see the orange sheep and the orange shepherd, they're on the orange base station, they're home. We have to get that done for all 4 colors and get them all home. But we start off way away from that. So how do we go about doing that? Every player is given 4 of these tactic cards. And let's take a look at what these cards do. Now they're very simple. They basically just have a color on them. These 2 are the blue ones, this is a purple one, and this is a wild that could be used for anything. So when you play a card, you have one of 2 choices essentially in the basic game. So we put this card down and it's purple, which means I can do one of 2 things. I can either activate this purple station, which means I activate the chit here that tells me what to do. It's move 1 behind the yellow, and this is obviously randomized as well, shepherd. So we move 1 behind the yellow shepherd. I could take either of these 2 that are on this station because I'm activating this purple station, and I'm going to move either one of these behind the yellow shepherd. Well, if you remember, the yellow shepherd is right here because the shepherds are the ships here. Behind, think of a clock. Behind is counterclockwise and ahead is clockwise. So if I move either of these behind the yellow shepherd, well, 1 behind the yellow shepherd is here. So I'm going to get to move either one of these to this station. Now, none of these are yellow. Now, let's just say if I moved this sheep, when it comes here, it displaces the sheep that's there, and that moves to the one that it came from. In other words, it's just swapping spots. But you always have 1 sheep and 1 shepherd on a station at a time. Now, the other thing you could do, the second action you could possibly do instead of activating the purple station, is you could activate essentially the purple shepherd. So whatever color card you put down, you take that color shepherd and you can move it 1 space clockwise. And again, since he comes to purple, he could move the blue one back there, just like that. So that's the other thing. You can either activate a station of that color or move the shepherd of that color 1 clockwise. Now let's say I played this wild instead, and I wanted to use it to activate a yellow station because you can use any color here. If the same colored sheep and shepherd are together, when you activate a station, this says move 2 past the purple sheep. The purple sheep's here, 2 past is 1, 2. It's going to move these 2 to here. Now, normally when you activate it, you're choosing one or the other to move. If they're the same color together, they can move together. So in this case, I can move 2 of these past 2 of the purple sheep, which puts us here. So if I wanted to, I could swap these with this because those 2 were together. Now in the very basic game, that's all you do. You essentially are playing a card and then picking up a card. And so there's a bunch of cards here, everyone starts with 4. The game ends when either you get all 4 of these in the right spot, which would look something like this. We have all the orange on the orange, the blue on the blue, the purple on the purple, yellow, yellow. If you do that before all the cards in the entire game are used, you win. If you run out of cards, meaning once all the cards are picked up from the draw pile and used and discarded, you still have cards in your hand. You can still use cards in your hand, but once everyone's cards from all their hands are gone, if they're not all together in their spots, you lose. Now, that was the super basic family version. Here's the normal family version, is we add the wolf. What the wolf does is he will start randomly on one of these tiles, and we'll roll the dice, and he moves 2. So he's going to start on this tile here. And how this works is there's a timer going here, and one person is champion and going to be the flock leader here. He's going to have this card. He's going to be the man, sort of manning the timer here. And with the wolf, how this works is as it's people's turns, this is going to start. It's a 1-minute timer. Now, if at the end of this 1-minute timer, this wolf is still standing up, meaning nobody has attacked him, he then will eat 4 of your cards. Well, whose cards does he eat first? Well, there's a defense console you could see here, and when you add the wolf to the game, you add an additional possible action. One of the actions you can do on your turn is put down a card in here in defense. If it's a card you know that's not very useful or it won't be in the future, or if you just want to add some defense, you could throw it there, and that's your entire turn. So there may be some cards there. Let's say there was a card here, and he ended up attacking. He would eat 4 cards. He's going to eat first anything that's in the defense console, so that's 1 card, and he's going to eat 3 more off the draw deck. Now, if the draw deck is empty, he will then start eating cards in the hands of players, and the person who's the flock leader gets to say whose cards he eats. If there's not enough cards to eat, the game ends and you lose. So that's essentially how the wolf. So how do you get rid of the wolf? How do you attack him? Well, on your turn, in addition to a normal action, you can throw down and discard a card of the color of the station that the wolf is in. So I could have thrown down an orange card or a wild card and knocked the wolf down. Now essentially what this means, this timer would be running and it's going to get to the end. So someone's going to knock the wolf down and the flock leader is going to be watching this timer, and he can let this thing go all the way until it's almost gone, because you're going to want to have the most time with not having to worry about the wolf. Now, once this thing gets really close to the bottom, he's going to flip the timer over, he's going to roll the dice, and he's going to go ahead 5. So the wolf is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the new timer started, and now he's on blue. So you're constantly, every minute, having to pretty much get rid of a card to knock the wolf down, or else he's going to eat some of your cards. They just released a Space Sheep app for Android and the iOS, which allows you to use what the wolf's strength is. You can change how frequent the wolf attacks if you want to change the difficulty. 1 minute is the default. And you can start the game, and it says move the wolf 3 spaces to start the game, and there goes the thing. Now, if you add cards to the defense console, you could add them there. You could also, if you're able to get rid of them, you go there, and then he says move the wolf 8 spaces, and then you could do it that way. So you could use the app to run the timer as opposed to the normal timer. Now that was the family game. Now let's go on to the advanced game here. There's a possibility of having a traitor or an infiltrator, essentially a bad player. And then you have these allegiance cards, and some of them are the bad guys or the wolves. Some of them are the good guys. You can decide how many you want. Maybe you start with 1 bad guy. You pass out these cards, and everybody has a secret role. And if you're a bad guy, essentially you're trying to thwart the plans and screw everybody else up. If they don't win, you win. So that just makes it even amazingly harder. The other way that you can do the advanced game is there's a lot of different ways to customize the difficulty. With the wolf, he was eating 4 cards before, but there's different tiles. You could have him eat only 2, or you could have him eat 7, you could have him eat 8, or you could have him eat infinity, which means if he eats once, you lose. So you could change the difficulty of the wolf there. There's also more base stations you can put out. You can actually even choose which 4 colors you want to start the game with anyway. But if you wanted to add an additional 5, 6, 7, or 8 station, by the way, for every station you add, it gets really a ton harder. You could add an additional station. Also, the last thing you can do to change the difficulty is there's a huge stack of these tiles that get randomly placed on the stations. We used the basic ones before, but there's interesting ones like discard card to move 2 past or 2 behind that color shepherd, whatever color's there. Or move 3 forward if the sheep is with his shepherd. Otherwise, move 1 forward. Move X forward, where X is the number of shepherds at home. So some things will change. Move X forward. X is the distance from the let's say the color shepherd to this color sheep. So there's a lot of different ways to change the game here in the advanced way. But no matter how you play, again, you're just trying to get all of the shepherds and the sheep together in their home station, and you're working cooperatively to do so, unless, of course, you throw the traitors in there. All right, well, there's Space Sheep. All right, here, nerd alert. If you've watched my videos, you know I'm an engineer, so all day long, I am tackling logic-type problems like this game gives us. So for me, as a person that loves puzzles and loves puzzly games in general, and likes co-ops, this game was a blast for me. I love this game. Anytime I can challenge my brain in new and interesting ways and have this much variables in order to do it, and either play it slowly or play it super pressure-wise, I just really love this. I will say, though, that the people in my group did not like it as much as I did. They liked it. Some people that don't like puzzle games are going to hate this. If you don't like puzzly, thinky games, you're not going to like this game. But if you tend to like puzzly games and you like cooperative, my guess is you're going to want to try this one because it is very good if you like that genre of games. Now, other people have said that this game has, it's too much on the alpha gamer for the co-op. I did not find that the case. I don't think it's any worse or any better than any other game. Essentially, you're solving the problem together, and sure, if you've played it more than everybody else, you're going to kind of know hey, we need to break those two yellows up. Even though we get the sheep and the shepherd together, I can tell by the board that we're just not going to get them home. We have to break them up. And that's okay. That's not bossing anybody around. So I don't think it has that problem. I think it's a great cooperative game. I actually like it with less people. In fact, I like it with 2 or 3. But playing it with more is fine. You can bring a lot of people in to kind of work together like most co-ops do. I like that about it. The thing that really made me love this game the most was the available ways to change the difficulty. I mean, you step way back before the family game and you just play it basic. No wolf, no nothing. And this is how I like to teach the game and play it the first time. Because if you play the game the first time with the wolf, you're going to shoot yourself in the head. It's way too hard. There's way too much going on. You don't even understand how the stations work. Play it without the wolf first, and it will be an enjoyable experience where you have time to think, you have time to see how the board works, you have time to talk through things with other players. To me, that's actually my favorite way of playing is without the wolf. But then, after you've got that going, now you can add as many of those tactic cards as you want. You can have 4 per color, you can have up to 6. So you can change the difficulty by how many cards you have. You can change the difficulty by adding the wolf, and then even once the wolf's added, you can change how long the wolf takes before he attacks using that iPad app, longer or shorter. You can also change how many cards the wolf eats, down from 2 all the way to if he eats, you're over. Then if you want to get completely crazy, you could possibly add more stations. And if you want to get super ridiculously kill myself crazy, you could add a traitor element. So the thing I really liked about this game, the best actually, was the amount of different ways that you could play this. You could scale it from super easy, and granted by super easy I mean hard, to holy crap, we're never going to finish this. But I like that it gives me the idea that I can start it very easy with people without the wolf, all the way to I'll never do this. So I'll never outgrow this game, even though I deal with these problems all day long. If you like logic games, you're going to want to check this one out. If you're not, you're probably not going to like it. You might just want to have it on your shelf because the box looks cool if you like, what it's parodying. But anyway, if this looks interesting to you, you're going to want to check out Space Sheep. Hey, one more thing before you go. If you're about to drop a comment on this YouTube page for this video and you're expecting interaction or a personal response from me, I recommend the place to do that is at my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/thegameboygeek, because I don't get notified when YouTube videos get comments on the Dice Tower Network because I don't own the channel. So if you want to interact with me directly, I'll see you at my Facebook page.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.